sich auf die Tanzfläche bewegen. Und nun geht es los.
You are listening to Däs Bündesliga Show here on the Lock Betting Podcast. You can follow Lock Betting on X at Lock Betting X. That's at Lock Betting X. The pin tweet on that account is always the profit and loss spreadsheet from the previous month. So at the moment, you can see the month of February, which was good for exactly 27 units, which included smashing UFC 298 and our Super Bowl card as well. All of the other spreadsheets are posted over at lockbetting.com if you want to do your further research, and I encourage you to do so. And the DMs are open at lockbettingx if you want to ask any further questions about the service. So let's move on with this edition of Däs Bündesliga Show. We have 5 games here to cover. We start with the game between leaders Bayer Leverkusen at home to Hoffenheim, where Leverkusen are the 2-9 favourites. It's 13-2 on the draw, and it's 11-1 here on Hoffenheim. We're having to take very, very short prices on Bayer Leverkusen at the moment, so we obviously want to find some value here in this game. Leverkusen and over 2.5 goals is too juiced for me at the price of 8-13. So instead, we will gamble on Hoffenheim making a contribution towards that over and take Bayer Leverkusen and over 2.5 goals here, which is priced up at 6-4 plus 150. Leverkusen coming into this one having won 11 of their 13 home Bundesliga games, whilst both teams have scored in 6 of those. Hoffenheim, they don't travel well. They've lost 5 of the last 7 away league games, but both teams have scored in 6 of those 7 matches. This side also scored 2 in Freiburg and in Wolfsburg, whilst bagging 3 in Dortmund. So they can definitely score, and whilst Bayer Leverkusen are definitely invincible leaders and worthy favourites to win this game, which they should win, I think Hoffenheim can bag one en route to Leverkusen winning. So Leverkusen and BTTS at the price of 6-4 plus 150 is my first selection here for this show. Up next, we look at the game here between RB Leipzig and Mons, where Leipzig are the 2-5 favourites. It's 9-2 on the draw, and it's 7-1 here on Mons. Decent price on Leipzig here. I think they are a decent parlay piece. I think they win this game. Obviously, we want to get away from the 2-5 line, so we can tack on over 2.5 goals to get us there. And that actually gives us plus money and makes it an even money plus 100 selection. Leipzig are trying to get into the Champions League places. They're just outside at the moment, but they have won 4 of the last 5 in the Bundesliga and just recently thrashed 17th place Cologne 5-1 in their last outing. Meanwhile, Mons, they've lost each of the last 4 away league games and were recently crushed 8-1 away to Bayern Munich. So with at least 3 goals being scored in Mons' last 3 away games, I see no reason to take something different here. Leipzig individually are scoring just under 2.5 goals per home game this season themselves. So I don't think they'll have any difficulty scoring 3 goals just by themselves. So we're going to take RB Leipzig to win with over 2.5 goals tacked on at the price of even money plus 100. Up next, we move on to the game of the weekend, a game that would be game of the weekend across Europe, but obviously it's very hard to see Bayern Munich getting back into the title race this season. And also we do have Man City at home to Arsenal in the EPL, but still a huge game. And I think Bayern Munich are a little bit too short here at 2-5 at home on the money line. It's 19-4 on the draw, and it's 11-2 here on Dortmund. As I said, I do think Bayern Munich are too short. I do think they'll win this game, But there's definitely tack-ons that you can take. First of all, if you don't trust Bayern Munich anymore, you could go for BTTS with over 2.5 goals, which is available at the price of 16 to 25. You could also take Bayern Munich and tack on over 2.5 goals, which is 4 to 6 minus 150. Or you could take Bayern Munich and both teams to score, which is a plus money selection at 6 to 5 plus 120. There is data here for Dortmund actually to upset Bayern Munich, but it's hard to go along with that because Bayern Munich have simply owned this team recently. But Dortmund have avoided defeat in 12 of the last 13 Bundesliga away games, and that does include avoiding a defeat at Leverkusen. Bayern Munich will be without Manuel Neuer, whilst Harry Kane is probably a doubt to play the full 90 minutes here. And Bayern have also failed to win 3 of the last 6 Bundesliga matches, which is why Bayer Leverkusen are winning away with the title. But Bayern rarely fail to score, particularly at home. But Dortmund definitely have the ability to contribute here, especially on the counter-attack with their pace and precision. Terzić's side have scored 2 or more goals in 4 of the last 6 away games. And Bayern Munich are obviously very, very solid when it comes to goal scoring, and they will definitely contribute their fair share of the goals here. So over 2.5 goals in BTTS is the easy way to play this, but I'm going to take a punt on Bayern to win with their backs against the wall here, despite the fact they won't have Neuer and probably won't have Kane for the whole game. We're going to take the plus money selection of Bayern and BTTS at the price of 6 to 5 plus 120. Definitely won't be the lock on the show. In fact, I'm not even enthralled with taking Bayern Munich on the money line, but we have to make a selection on every game, and I do think there's value on the one that I've taken here for this one. Up next, we jump across to Sunday, and we begin with the game between Augsburg and Cologne, where Augsburg are the 4-5 minus 125 home favourites. It's 3-1 on the draw, and it's also 3-1 here on Cologne to pick up an away win here in this one. I can't see past an Augsburg win here. Augsburg have won each of the last 4 games, and they meet a Cologne team who are winless in 6 games. So good value here on the selection. The visitors have won just once on their travels all season, whilst they head to an Augsburg side who are now pushing for Europe based on mainly their solid home form. And this is a home game. So we'll take Augsburg to win it at the price of 4-5 minus 125 in this one. We finish off with Stuttgart at home to Heidenheim, where Stuttgart are really unbackable on the money line at 2-7 minus 350. It's 21-4 on the draw, and it's 9-1 here on Heidenheim. Difficult to make a pick when Stuttgart are this short, but I'm willing to take them to cover a minus 1.5 Asian handicap line, which gives us 10-11 minus 110 instead. They're rolling at home, where they've won 11 of 14 league matches, and 9 of those have covered this handicap line. 9 of those have been by at least 2 goals. They face a Heidenheim team who've been defeated 7 times in 13 outings on the road, which isn't terrible, but it doesn't give them any right to compete here with Stuttgart. This is a team who've done well not to be in the relegation conversation, sitting 11th in the table, but it's because of that reason they have absolutely nothing to play for here, in my opinion, which is why I think Stuttgart in 3rd place roll and continue their strong home record and cover an Asian handicap line here of minus 1.5 at the price of 10-11 here for this one. Closing out with your lock on the show, lots of different ways to go, but lots of them feel like we are reaching. So I'm just going to take a 2-team parlay here with 2 teams that I just cannot see dropping points this weekend. So one of them is the ever-reliable Bayer Leverkusen on the money line, obviously very chalky at minus 450. The second part of the parlay is RB Leipzig, who I actually think provide value at the price of 2 to 5. Leverkusen is obvious. They are the runaway leaders in the league. They haven't lost a single competitive game in all competitions so far this season. They have won 11 of 13 at home. And I believe they roll here against an Hoffenheim team who have lost 5 of the last 7 away league games. As for Leipzig, they need to get themselves into the Champions League positions, and at home they are strong. They come into this one in solid form, having won 4 of the last 5 in the league, and recently thrashed 17th place Cologne by 5 goals to 1. So once again, your lock here on this show is a 2-team parlay, 2-team moneyline parlay, 2 teams that I just cannot see dropping points on their own patch this weekend. It's Bayer Leverkusen at the very short price of 2-9 and RB Leipzig at the price of 2-5. If you put these two selections together, you end up with the price of 7-10, returning you £170 from a £100 stake for a £70 profit. Be sure to check out all of the shows this weekend. You have Scommessa Italia, you have the EPL show, and you have Bet MUFC as well. And you have the European show exclusive to Lock Betting subscribers. That show is on fire once again at the moment. It's bounced back from a little bit of a dry patch, and I would encourage you to upgrade to make sure that you receive the European show once again this weekend. Good luck with all your bets as always, and thanks for listening.